Hey guys, more with chain rule today, but today we're going to focus on reading from tables and graphs. Important ideas. Guess what? Memorize your derivative rules. So all those rules that I wrote like the last several lessons in the important ideas, the e to the x, natural log of x, all of those, be working on memorizing them. Okay? Now, and I can only make this so big, and I apologize. I wasn't thinking about trying to record these notes, but doing chain rule, product rule, all this from tables and graphs. The biggest key is being organized. I know that sounds cheesy and cliche, but I promise organization helps. So notice what's in our table. F and G are in our table. The graph is of H prime values. And then this table across the bottom is just plain H, okay? So if we look at number 1, H of X equals F of G, and I want to find H prime of -5. Well, H prime means I'm finding the derivative of H. But in order to find this, I have a U. So my U is going to be G of X, which then means FU is F of U. Take the derivative of each. The derivative of G of X would be G prime of X. The derivative of F of U would be F prime of U. And then we multiply these together, G prime of X times F prime of U, but what was U? That was regular G. So this is the answer to the derivative of H, but I didn't ask you for just the derivative of H, I asked you for H prime of -5. So that means everywhere I have an X, I'm going to replace it with -5. And then I'm going to start answering these piece by piece. G prime of -5, which means I'm going to go to G prime at -5, and I'm going to find that answer. Times, I'm sorry, you're going to bear with me because I'm just going to write all over this thing so you can see what I'm talking about. F prime of G of X, well, I can't do the F prime part yet because I need to do the inside. G of -5. So I go to G, -5, I get 9. Now, I still got my 5 times F prime of 9. So I go F prime, 9, I get -9. Now that I've gotten rid of all my F's, my G's, my H's, blah, 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 5 times -9 is -45. H of X equals G of X squared, and I want to find H prime of 3. So that means I'm taking the derivative of this equation. Well, I need a U. So that means my FU would be G of U. The derivative of U, the derivative of G, I multiply these together to X times G prime of what was U? X squared. So this is the H prime answer, but I want H prime at 3. So that means I'm going to go everywhere I see an X, I'm going to replace it with 3. Well, this one's not too bad. 2 times 3 is 6 times G prime of 3 squared, 9. So the 6 is still good, but now I've got to go figure out what G prime of 9 is. So I'm going to go find G prime. I'm going to go find 9. What's the G prime of 9? That's -6. 6 times -6 is -36. Okay, and now I'm so sorry because I'm going to have to flip pages back and forth. And I didn't even think about this again when I went to for the videos of this, but j of x equals x squared times f of g. Well, I have a product rule, first of all. So derivative of the first, keep the second, plus keep the first. But when I go to take the derivative of this second piece, I need a chain. I need a u. So u would be g of x. fu is going to be f of u. The derivative of g of x is g prime of x. The derivative of f of u is f prime of u. And I multiply those back together. G prime of x times f prime of u. It looks ugly, but all of that is the derivative of h, or j, sorry, that's all j prime. But now I'm going to go through and I'm going to replace all my x's with -5. So let's do the easy stuff first. So quit flipping back and forth. So 2 times -5, -10. And then I would have f of g of -5. -5 squared, 25. G prime of -5. And then I've got f prime of g of -5. Okay, so let's start with this, g of -5. That means I'm going to go find g. I'm going to go find -5. G of -5 is 9. So now I have -10 f of 9 plus, here, are you guys okay if I go ahead and do this one too? That's going to be a 9. F prime of 9. And I got 25 g prime of -5. Okay, now let's go find f of 9. So that means I'm going to go to f. I'm going to go to 9. F of 9 is -2. Okay. G prime of -5, let's go find that. G prime, -5, I get 5. And then lastly, f prime of 9. See why I said organization pays off? F prime of 9 is -9. All right, -10 times -2, 20. 25 times 5 times -9 is -1,125. And when I add those two things together, get -1,105. Well, all right. They're asking me for the derivative of h. Well, I need a u. Oh, I forgot I was on that mode. 3 minus x cubed. So that means fu will be g of u. Get -3x squared. G prime of u. Multiply those together. G prime of, but what was u? 3 minus x cubed. And we're doing this when x is 2. So 2 squared, 4, times -3, -12, times g prime of 2 cubed is 8, 3 minus 8, -5. This one's a little nicer. I only have to find one answer off my table. G prime of -5. So that means I'm going to go to g prime, -5, and I get 5. Times the -12 that I already had. Good old -60. u is going to be h of x. That means fu will be u squared. Take the derivative of each. Multiply them together. That's my derivative. And then I want to evaluate the derivative at 1. So h prime at 1. Well, when I come over here, I don't need my table because my table has f and g. This table running across the bottom, if you can see my cursor running underneath it, those are all h's. H prime is here in the graph. H prime of 1, well, here's 1. What's the answer? 3. 2 times, this is h of 1. So where do I see h of 1 at? That's happening right here, 12. So 3 times 2 times 12, 72. Sorry, guys. All right, last one. So my u is going to be g of x. Fu will be h of u. That'd be g prime. That'd be h prime. I multiply them together. And u was g of x. And then I'm going to replace my x with what I want, -9. So first, I need to erase all this business. Okay. We are working first with g prime of -9. So g prime, -9, I get 4. Times h prime of, now I gotta go do this piece, g of -9. G of -9 is 1. H prime, I'll flip my screen one more time, sorry. H prime was my graph, and we said of 1. Hey, we already answered that once. What's the answer for h prime at 1? 3 times the 4, and we get 12. Your homework for this lesson is on Canvas. If you go back to the tab on Canvas for 3.6 and you click the word assignment, it will take you to a Canvas linked assignment. It is all reading tables and graphs, and I'll tell you, they're even just using these same tables and graphs and doing